Ora, muito bom dia, boa tarde ou boa noite. E no PCA 2019 não podia faltar a estrela maior da Team PokerStars Pro, Daniel Negreanu. Hello.
Yeah, I didn't understand a word you just said.
I just said you were, since we are here, we couldn't miss you.
Oh, cool.
So it's been 2 years since last I spoke with you in the same settings. Different vibe. This is much more exciting. Do you think this kind of 25K PokerStars Players Championship is a format to repeat again yearly in a different format, in a different country?
Well, obviously, when we look at what happened with it, we were hoping maybe 700-800 people to get over 1,000. It's a smashing success. The storylines were great. The community really loved it. But obviously, it's a big expenditure. You know, they put in over $9 million, maybe close to $10 million into this event. Now, whether that's something you can do every year, I'm not sure. Right? That would be something they'd have to look at and check the books. But you know, maybe it takes on a different format, like you said, or maybe a different country or something like that. It'd be very cool to see the event become, even if it's not annual, if it was semi-annual, or maybe every couple of years, it'd be fantastic for the poker community.
So. You've been around the world playing poker for almost all my life. What's your favorite stop, excluding Vegas, because it's home?
Yeah, I think the one that I go to every year that I really look forward to is Barcelona. Just a great spot, right on the beach, you know, and it's like always well attended, and a beautiful city in Barcelona.
We're now entering Portuguese players. We're entering a phase where we're seeing a couple of guys entering the 100Ks, a couple of guys. That we won our first million, our first million result last year. A Portuguese guy won the biggest online poker tournament. So we're kind of getting into the mainstream of the poker world. Are you aware of it? Have you seen us around? Do you know any of us?
Oh, of course. I mean, you know, like when I'm playing in the high rollers, it's a much more diverse group, especially when they're in Europe. Not as much in Las Vegas. You don't see a lot of them coming to play in Vegas, but definitely on the European stops. Playing against Brazilian players is difficult because they don't fit a mold that's easy to read. So like a lot of the, you know, young Canadian guys, they all think like robots kind of, you know, like game theory. But the Brazilian guys, they play with a little more flair and passion and unpredictability, and they'll do things that are hard to predict.
I'm going to pick up on that. Because I sense the Brazilians are the new Americans in PokerStars.com, the big country with a lot of players that have a large diversity of style of play. But since I'm from Portugal, we also speak Portuguese, but in the other side of the pond, closer to Barcelona. Do you think maybe in Brazil we can have an event like this, or in Portugal, well, not like this, but something smaller or attractive enough to be other than Barcelona, which is the big stop in Europe?
Yeah, I think here's the thing, right? What people don't realize when you put on events is there's a lot to think about in terms of, is there space, is the venue okay, how much is it going to cost people, also what is the tax situation. And I know that Brazil has had some, you know, struggles with situations with like foreigners coming because, you know, if there's too big of a tax implication, it's very difficult to have an international field where people come. They're not going to come and say, what, 30% is going to be right off the top. So so that's like the main thing is, are the governments receptive to it? Is the tax structure good? Is there a venue that's big enough, that's nice enough to hold an event like that? And PokerStars does the best job of anyone finding those places. Like the Bahamas here, we have 1,000 people in this event, and there's going to be tons of events over 2 weeks, get all the rooms and all that. It takes a lot of work to get this done.
Logistics, nightmare.
Big time, yeah.
Let's finish up with a more personal question. You had a terrific 2018 in a lot of levels. So what are your aspirations for 2019?
So yeah, I mean, obviously in my personal life, you know, poker was fine. I didn't do great. I didn't do poorly. I had a good second place finish in the Super High Roller Bowl against Justin Bonomo. But personally, you know, I got engaged on the end of the year. So now my focus a little bit is going to be on, you know, wedding lists and getting the wedding done, hopefully before the World Series of Poker. So we're going to be working on that. And that's, you know, my main focus right now is making her happy and maybe having a little Negreanu running around playing in the World Series in about 18, 20 years. Well, yeah, 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, 22.
Well, you can go to Barcelona and play in 18
Exactly. Well, we'll have them in the EPT Barcelona when they're 19.
Well, then, thank you very much. Better luck in the next tournament instead of this PSPC. Just one final question. this PSPC, did you find it different to be in the table around? Well, it must be a different setting.
Yeah. I mean, listen, a 25,000 buy-in, usually it's 40, 50 guys. I know them all. You know, I know every one of them. So this is different. You know, I'm sitting at a table. I didn't recognize most of them, you know, and the playing styles are different, you know, and for that kind of a money, you know, you don't know. Some guys might be in for like they've never played a $100 tournament before. So the playing style, you see some limping, you see some things you just wouldn't normally see in a 25K. So it was a very, very different than your traditional 25,000 buy-in.
More entertaining?
Yes, because it's a little more, like in the early stages especially, you know, I already know how Chidwick plays. He knows how I play, and Bryn Kenny. So there's not a lot to learn. But like with this, it's like, what does this guy do? What is he doing? What is this check, re-raise, limp? So it gets your mind going a lot more.
Thank you very much. Again, better luck in the next tournament, main events and the Super High Rollers. Nós vamos voltar lá para dentro, continuamos com a malta no PSPC, em busca dos 5 milhões para o campeão.
Obrigado!
Tudo no lado e porta do PokerStars.com. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm gonna do a small intro in Portuguese and then all English.
Let's do English. Why not? Give it a shot. Obrigado. Otherwise, it's obrigado. Da.